This video will go over some of the basic form functions and how forms look in a GSCS environment. So we're going to start with a quick look at what the new dashboard looks like and how you can select different forms. We will then move into what the listings card on that dashboard does and how you can use it to find forms for students. We'll look at adding or using an already added student form. We will go into a form and look at some of the fields that might typically show up and some of the top ribbons, the functions within a form. And finally, we'll return to the dashboard and look at the quick profile search and save search cards. So when you open Clevr, you will be taken to the dashboard. This is our home screen, our default home screen, and you can always return to it by pushing the home button. And across the top of the dashboard, there are other icons, and there will be some other videos in our help area that will go through what notifications look like, how you can use them, how you can use the advanced search function, how you can do some bulk printing and things like that. But on this side of the dashboard, this is a place where you can update your profile. You can change your profile picture, modify Clevr to more suit your needs. And this is also where you can choose the location that you want to be searching in. Now, students will only show up at one location, whatever school they're attending. So if you, for example, are looking for a student who belongs at Bishop Pocock, but you have Cardinal Leger School selected, you won't find that student. So either make sure that you are selecting the correct school that the student belongs to, or search or select all the locations, and then you don't have a problem. Now on the dashboard, we've got three different sections, and they're called cards. And the listings card is the one that we'll look at right now. It does most of the heavy lifting. In the listings card, there is a category, but we don't have anything categorized right now. But in the future, we'll be able to separate our forms into student services forms, counseling forms, staff forms, things like that. So this doesn't really apply to us right now. But you would go into this second drop-down menu and you would choose the form that you want to be working in. You might have different forms than I do. It just depends on your permissions within Clevr. Once you have the form selected and the school selected, you're going to see a list of students that already have this form created for them. So in this example, there are 2 students that have a referral and consent for counseling services form. Now, I will show you what it looks like in a moment when we go inside, but let's say you want a form for another student that doesn't show up on this list. That could be for one of 2 reasons. First, that student has never had a form created for them. They've never had a referral form created for them. And I will show you how to add that in one moment. But the second one, and I want you to look at this search box here. Right now, I am searching for active and inactive students, and there's also a setting called Preregistered. Our forms will default for only active students. So if I apply that the person's status is only active, I have no results found. What this means is that this active means that the student is at your location right now. They're going to school at White Buffalo Youth Lodge. So I have no students going to White Buffalo Youth Lodge. As soon as I change that to either read inactive or active or pre-registered, and I apply it again, inactive means it's a student that at one point attended White Buffalo Youth Lodge but no longer goes there. So it's a student that's moved to another school in our division, or a student that is just not on roll in our division at all. So these 2 students don't attend White Buffalo Youth Lodge right now, but at some point they did because they were active at one time. Now they're inactive. Pre-registered students would be those who haven't attended your school yet, but are scheduled to do so. Like in June, the grade 8 students in our elementary schools will be pre-registered for whatever high school they have chosen. So a grade 9 teacher might go into one of our forums and look at all the pre-registered students to see if there are transportation needs or special needs or things like that, even though they're not active in their school yet. So those might be a reason why a student you think should be here doesn't show up. They might be inactive, and you can still access inactive students. You can access pre-registered students. But if they're not showing up on your active list, check those out first. Okay, so let's say that the student I want still isn't showing up even after I've checked active and pre-registered students. I need to add a student to this form. So I would go up to the top of the card. I would choose, it will default to active and student because I want to have students from that location. Now for my example, I know that it's not a student role, so I'm going to change it to all roles. And you can type in a couple letters of the last name. You can also search by first name. You can search by grade or by student number if you happen to know that. But last name is usually pretty easy. And you don't have to type in the entire last name. You can only type in a couple of letters and it will show up. Like if I only type in the AD, all students at White Buffalo Youth Lodge with the last name starting AD will show up. And as soon as I push apply, it will come up with a list of those students. Now this being able to search only by a couple of letters helps. If you're not sure how to spell a name, you can maybe do trial and error. But in this case, I found the student I want. There's clevr admin. And as soon as I check the box, I say add selection. And it will automatically create that form for this student. Once I am in any type of student form for GSCS, you're going to notice a couple of the same things. These light blue-gray boxes, if you hover over them, a message is displayed that says this field is able to receive data from the SIS after the data has been imported. This means that clevr will talk to our student information system and it will pull this information if it exists in our SIS. So for example, I wouldn't need to type in or choose, and I could still choose whatever school I want. But I would go, if these are blank, it means you can go up to the integration and push import data, and whatever is in that SIS will automatically dump in here. Obviously, this is a fake student account, so we don't have any information in there. But it would have pulled, the information from the student's address. It will pull the father's name and cell number. Whatever it has, it will pull. But you can see I can also type stuff in if I want to, and the box will turn green. That tells you that it's worked. But the next time that you integrate and import data, it will overwrite it and it will be blank again. Just a heads up there. But these blue fields will show up in most of our forms have these automatic fields. The other thing I want to point out on any form is a red star, and it's a required field. Now you can see at the top there's a 0% completion bar. As soon as I put something into these required fields, I pick a year, it starts to climb towards 100%. So you know that I've got, 1 out of 5. There's 4 more little red stars out there. So I keep putting in, I pull the information. As soon as I check off that primary consent has been obtained and I pick a date, because those are both required fields, it fills in even more. The other thing I want to show you on these screens are how to submit. So once you've done as much information as you can, and hopefully this is at 100% before you submit anything, you would check off, whoever fills in the form would check off the first box, and it will give you instructions. So this is saying it's going to submit to the school principal for approval. You push the button and the date self-fills. So if you come into a form and you see the date has already been filled in, you don't need to submit it again unless something has changed. The next step looks like it is for the principal, so your job would be done. So the principal would continue. They would choose the counselor's name and they would submit the notifications and things like that. Finally, the last thing on some of these forms is the blue ribbon at the top. You'll be able to scroll through next and previous students here, or you can jump straight to a student name just by typing in a few letters, so no name exists for that one. And up here as well, this home will get you back to the dashboard. Sometimes you'll have something that says records, where you can create a brand new record for this student. You can clone a record for this student, make a copy of it, or you might even be able to see into the record history and see what's been made in the past. This drop-down will depend on the permissions you have and the way the forms are set up. One thing that is very helpful though is the forms. And as soon as I hover over the forms, these are all of the forms that this clevr admin student has. So if I want to jump straight from this referral form and I want to go straight to a use of physical restraints form, I just click on the title and I switch forms immediately. And actually, up here you can see there's another drop down that shows up. There's a print. Some forms allow you to print PDFs of the information that you can see. If there's not a print option, it means there aren't any printable items there. Now, the last thing we need to do is return to the home page, and we will be able to see, as soon as it loads up, we should be able to see that our, because I only have, there we go. I'll choose all. Active, inactive. So there is the one we just added, and you can see that the date created was today's date, and the last modified was today. So this, the form earlier was created in February 3rd, last modified the following week. So this might be a way for you to organize some of your thoughts. The last thing I want to do is take a look at these two cards at the bottom, the quick profile search and safe searches. Now, safe searches I'm not going to spend a lot of time on. There are other help videos and documents in our clevr helps and tips area that will show you how to set up your own safe searches or how to use ones that are pushed out to you. And they can really cut down on your frustration and finding the information you're looking for. But this quick profile search is one I want to point out, because in here, in the listings card, you can search for people just like we did. We can search for anyone. We can add as many fields as we want. We can search for anyone who is in grade 5, for example, or we can search any way we want. But this is only searching within this form. So if they don't have a form created for them, they won't show up in the search at all. The quick profile search searches the entire clevr depository. So if I want to search here, it will show me students from all schools. Actually, it will show me from White Buffalo Youth Lodge, but it will show me all of the students, even if they didn't have a referral form. So this is a good profile search to use if you are looking for if a student is actually at that school or not, or a staff member if you have the option to do this. That's about all I want to say for now. This has been a long video. Just get into clevr, play around in the listings, play around in the search, because if you can kind of navigate how the searches are working and set up some safe searches, you'll make your life a whole lot easier. As always, if you have any problems, you can dial 8888 or make a help ticket at the help desk, or you can look out the other clevr help and tips that are available from our GSCS portal.